more book show. Very, very excited to see you. We'll get started. I got in here a little bit late, so we'll get started in about 6 minutes time with the official episode. But I'm glad to see everyone. If you can see me, if you can hear me, go let me know. Go drop a little comment so that I know you're here, so that I know you're ready to rock. I'm going to go to all the places, do all the things, make sure, as I knock things, make sure that we are set up to be in all of the places at all of the time. It appears as though we are here on Facebook. So I'm going to let folks know we are live. And then I'm going to spread the word to all the places. But come on in, have fun, be ready. I feel bad that I was a little bit late, but these things happen. It's live. It's live action, Tracy. It's live action. To quote the former UNC coach, Hubert Brown. But let's go and share this to some groups. Make sure it's live and ready there in the after party. SMBS 630 is now live. We'll get that in there. And then we'll share it in the free challenge group. And all of you will get to see the fun of this week's episode. We've got some good work-life balance talk today. Some great questions posed by our superstar, Roland Denzel, who has been finding the show notes for years and years. So, Ernie is now live. Hopefully y'all are seeing and hearing and getting the notice. When you see me and hear me, let me know. I would love to make sure that you are seeing and hearing and getting all the good stuff happening. But I'm really excited for today's show. We will start officially in about 4 minutes time, because I got a little bit of a late start today on the episode proper. I'm going to go pin this thing, and I'm going to go let everybody know we are now live. And I'm going to let people know in the other place too, in the free group. And so I'm excited. Let me know what you're working on today. I see some folks coming on in. Hello there to Yazzie. Good to see you. Hello to Monica. Good to see you, Monica. Glad you're hearing me and seeing me. Hey to Rosina. Good to see you. We're going to have a good show for everyone today. I am looking forward to it. We're going to talk a little bit about burnout, which is a common challenge for those in any creative industry, let alone the self-publishing industry. Everyone, we are now live. So we'll get started officially with episode 630 at about 10 after the top of the hour. So what are you guys working on? So Linda, yeah, I was just talking about the free Facebook group where we post a bunch of stuff. Rosina is editing a book for a client. Very, very nice. Linda is sending off a nonfiction draft for editing. So we're in the editing stages. I like this. Very, very nice. I've got a book that we are working on soon that I'm very, very excited about. More in the nonfiction direction. So those of you nonfiction authors, get excited. So we have a good group of people here. See who's over here on not. We have Charity over on the Instagram. Very nice. As well as a couple of other wonderful folks. And I see Carla. Yeah. Let me know what you're working on. We got about a minute. Those of you who are here, I'm excited that we get to interact here. I love getting to do this show live. And I cannot wait to just give you guys some good ideas. I'm all about some good ideas. Hey, Kim Ann. I did see your email, by the way. I promise I will respond. But yeah, I am excited for another wonderful episode here for the Sell More Book Show. Carla's working on a new book. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome, awesome, awesome. We've got all sorts of people all around the world. Rosina says, trying to grow my subscriber list. It's hard. Yep. Having something you're working on every day can make a big difference. Something that is consistently sending people over there makes a big, big difference. Sorry, Deborah. Oh, man, I'm sorry your power's out. I had that the other day. Sorry you're dealing with that. So I am going to get ready for the countdown into episode, and we'll be ready. And we're going to do it. It's happening. Sell More Book Show, 6:30, live in 4, 3, 2. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Sell More Book Show, episode 630. I'm Brian Cohen from Best Page Forward and the Author Ad Agency. I'm very, very happy to be seeing you today. We got a couple dozen folks who are here watching live. We've got Monica and Andrea and Deborah and Kim Ann and Rosina and Carla. As well as Linda and a couple more folks sneaking in. I am very excited for today's topic. We are going to talk about burnout. We are going to talk about what we can do about it. But first, as a reminder, the Sell More Book Show is sponsored by the Author Ad Agency. If you are an author earning over $6,000 a month in royalties, and you're only running Facebook ads, you might be leaving something on the table. There is this weird belief that Amazon ads are worse than Facebook ads. But in reality, Amazon ads are where people are shopping. If you can get the Amazon ads to work, which fortunately we know how to do, you can absolutely get a better return on your Amazon ads than on your Facebook ads. And having a little bit of both, it's never going to hurt. So drop us a line, Brian, Bryan, at sellingforauthors.com. If you have any interest in becoming the next client, the next satisfied client of the Author Ad Agency. Let's get into the previous week's question. If you knew that fear was actually pointing you in the right direction of where to go next in your author career, what action would you take to run toward the fear? Bethany Tucker said, probably write a little slower, spend more time on my backlist in terms of renovations, and spending time finishing up series I dropped because of lack of sales. Those series didn't bring in the income like my current world is, so I don't want to step away and lose momentum for something that was already not a good earner. Very happy writing in my current world, though. It's artistically satisfying right now. I mean, here's the thing, Bethany. It is scary, I think, to honestly drop the backlist stuff. I think it's scarier to actually go and say, I don't need to have everything working. It's okay if it's just the current thing. Because if you're artistically satisfied, and the old series and the new series is actually bringing in more money, I would actually lean in towards focusing on the current world. That's me personally. I can't help but let the coach out every so often, you guys. That is kind of my instinct there. Um, I think, we have to really think about where the fear is pointing us. If the fear is FOMO or the fear is letting go of these things, then that's one thing. All stuff to keep in mind. Kevin is here. Love it. And then Python Portal is here. Love seeing you guys here. Love, love, love getting to do this show live. Remember, you can always answer the question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or at sellmorebookshow.com. Let's go into today's top story. Honor the process and avoid burnout. If social media posts are any sort of evidence, today's authors are feeling burnout more than ever before. But is it really possible to burn out on writing? Quote, although the answer is undoubtedly a qualified yes, writes author K.M. Weiland, I don't think most of the burnout writers are currently experiencing is really about the storytelling. It's more about everything else, end quote. Today's writers are dealing with a more crowded publishing market than ever before, a constant flood of new information, and a near constant feeling that we must keep up to be relevant. In the middle of all that, quote, in the middle of all that, the act of writing itself can start to feel less like an organic process and more like something we have to force, says Weiland. End quote. For example, because the market is so saturated, authors often feel like they have to write more and faster. Quote, I don't think we're burned out so much on telling stories as we are on creating content. End quote. Along those lines, authors can feel that they have to write their stories quickly while there's still room in the market for their books. All of this leads to higher stress levels, which can crowd out originality, lead to authors trying to write faster, and make it hard to tap into their own creativity. To turn this around, Weiland suggests reframing your storytelling as a creative process instead of a commodity. Quote, when we honor the process, and by that I mean the natural cycles and rhythms of our own vibrant creativity, it can actually become a healing force in its own right, end quote. In fact, says Weiland, storytelling is a meditative act. It helps us bring order to ourselves and our worlds, even when we don't consciously intend it as such, end quote. Feeling burned out or on your way to burnout, learn about Weiland's 5 main reasons for author burnout, how you can turn them around using the link in our show notes. Obviously, I've got to turn on the, I never have the ringer on my phone, but that doesn't mean the ringer doesn't ring on my computer. Haven't figured out how to stop that. Anyway, so here's the thing, guys. How many of you listening today have experienced or are currently experiencing some level of burnout? I see Tony here says one of the things that affects him is that constant changing of the rules. It can feel that way. It can feel like things are always moving, always shifting, always requiring an update. And of course, that can lead to burnout. I love Weiland's suggestions here, though. Remembering the creative parts of the process, because it absolutely can be a challenge to still feel fresh, to still feel like the writing is something you enjoy, to still feel like the writing isn't just about the making of money, that it still feels like the bearing of your soul, and that singing that song that is within you and not keeping that bottled up inside. This is not easy to do in the midst of we're also trying to make money. Here are some other thoughts. Andrea says, I really struggle with marketing. And that's the thing. Some of us are more like we need to be doing things as often as possible that we enjoy. And if we don't enjoy the marketing, then it can be difficult to do it. And we would rather just spend our time on what we enjoy. And spending too much time on what we don't enjoy can be contributing to that burnout. So, absolutely, Andrea. Pint and Portal says, yep, there's always something on the to do list. Trying to run a full time author business when working a full time job at the same time. Oh, absolutely. And I know folks who are working a full time job and running a full time author business, but I also know folks who are just running a full time author business, and the complaint is the same. It's a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot of work to do. It is challenging. There is no question that we need to really protect our energy. We need to really protect our spirit here. We need to really protect the creativity and the love of this, while at the same time making sure we're paying the bills, doing all that stuff. It is no small feat. And then Charity May says, dealing with some marketing burnout, run out of the energy before I get to the writing, but then I lose money when I put the writing first. This is absolutely, and I see Derek in here. I was just talking with you, Derek. This is absolutely challenging. This is absolutely so tough. So let's talk this through. First question I have, Hot Potatoes of Wisdom question. Why do you think more authors are feeling burnout these days? And so I think that there is this belief that may or may not be true. I'm leaning towards it not being true, that we have to do everything, that we absolutely have to do everything to keep up with the peoples, that we have to do everything. And it's a load of junk. More often than not, it's one key marketing thing and one key writing thing, and the rest can go. I've just been talking about this with some of my Pathfinders author mastermind students, folks who are earning over $2,500 a month from their books or higher. And they have the situation where they've gotten some success, but now like they have 7 balls that they're all juggling at the same time. And we constantly need to remove things that aren't a good fit so that we can only focus on the top stuff. I've talked about the joy profit matrix. If it brings you joy but doesn't bring you money, you need to make time for it because it feeds your soul. If it brings you joy and brings you money, absolutely keep doing it. If it brings you money but no joy, these are these first things you outsource. Even finding someone who can just work 3 hours a week can make a difference. And then if it brings you no profit and no joy, you jettison. You get rid of it. And so there's a lot of balls in the air at all times, but you do not, my friends, you do not need to do it all. Second question here is really a double question. How do you avoid burnout, or how did you recover from it if you felt burned out yourself? Absolutely felt burned out. I had to get away from all screens. I had to get away from all screens, all obligations. And it meant I made no progress during that time. It meant that I was not able to make progress at the time that I was burned out. And that is just what you have to do sometimes. We set these deadlines. We make these deadlines legitimate. We're the ones. We're the ones. And so if we need to move a deadline, we just need to move a deadline. And it's tough because you want to hold yourself accountable, of course. But sometimes, you guys, we just need to shift because our brains need rest. Our brains, our bodies, our hearts need rest. We need recovery. I think really, to go back to the previous question, why do I think more authors are feeling burnout these days? It's because they aren't resting. They aren't recovering. And you need recovery if you are going to keep on going. Hey, Justin, good to see you. Good to see you in here. Let's see. I see Carolyn is in here as well. Stacy, and some others sneaking in here. Very, very much love doing this show live. But hopefully you guys, this idea of if burnout does strike, just giving yourself permission. You have my permission right here and right now. If everything is screaming that you need to take a day off or a couple days off, you just got to do it. I've done it myself. I would highly recommend others do it if you are in burnout. And then from then on, prioritizing recovery. You need to find out, what do you do that helps you recover? That might even be a question of the week. I'm going to put it here at the bottom. Recovery as an idea here. So let's go into the lightning round. Shapoof. That was a cool one. What are the most common fears authors have when it comes to selling, and how do you overcome them? So, the biggest fear I have seen authors have is that they will be too salesy. I have never seen anyone who was worried about being too salesy actually being too salesy. I've never seen it in my life. Why is that? People who feel like they might be too salesy, they always hold back in the selling process. So they're never going to be a sleazy person. People who are actually worried that they're going to come off sleazy never come off sleazy, but they feel like they are coming off sleazy. So a lot of it is the comfortability with the idea that there are people in the world who love your stuff, who want to see your stuff. The comfortability with the fact that you may need to put yourself out there more so that more of the people who will love your books can actually find you. So it is a fear, but as we talked about last week or a couple of weeks ago, it's good sometimes to run toward the fear because it's telling you what the next thing you have to tackle is in your life. Next lightning round question. And if any of you are like, I like that, Brian, or I hate that, Brian, please feel free to let me know if you're watching on the live or shoot me an email. Second question. What have you learned from non-publishing industries that have helped you in book marketing? Here's the biggest thing I've learned recently, and this is from being a part of a high-level mastermind group run by Amanda Francis, is that every day your mindset, attitude, your habits matter. If you think, oh, well, I fixed this thing in my brain and now it's good and I never have to work on it again, you are wrong. Every day matters. I now have a moment-to-moment routine, kind of a standardized operating procedure that I've learned to steady myself, to reduce even the high highs. I've found that there's too much of a yay, if a sale comes in, of course I get excited, but I've taken it away from me getting notifications on my phone. I've taken it away from me getting notifications in my email inbox. I have reduced the number. I have reduced the amount of stimuli so that I can keep more even keeled, because it is long-term going to be better for my mental health. And so I have absolutely learned this from this group, from finding this stuff out, from these high-level people. And that has been the most important thing to me, is reducing the high highs, reducing the low lows, staying kind of in the middle, and making sure that is part of my routine every single day. Every single day. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you guys. Let me know. Third question here. You recently said that authors who aren't ready for an agency should get coaching first. Can you talk more about that? How do you know which is right for you? Look, I run an agency. It charges over $1,000 a month to run Amazon ads, and could be even more like $2,000 plus to run Amazon ads and Facebook ads at the same time. When someone comes to us, that in no way, shape, or form is close to making that money back, to being able to make that money back, we turn them down as an agency client, but we will often refer them to some of the other offerings we have related to coaching, because usually there are reasons. There are reasons why an author isn't making $5,000 a month to be in that realm where maybe agency is a consideration. There's a reason they're at $3,000 but not $6,000, or there are multiple reasons. And coaching has been just such an amazing, amazing way to find those reasons. There are authors I've had the joy of working with who have gone from $3,000 a month to $10,000 plus per month. And it's usually from figuring out, well, what are the things? What are the things that need to happen next? What are the things that can stop happening? That's a big one. What are the things you can stop doing or stop focusing on? One of my favorite stories, Emily Blackwood, a fantastic romantasy author who is a superstar. She was working with me in my Pathfinders author mastermind group. And she came in at the start of the year saying, Brian, I've got these 5 things I need to get figured out. And I said, or do you actually need to do all those things? And I gave her the permission. She did the work herself, of course. I gave her the permission. You don't have to learn those 5 things. Just do the thing you're doing 5 times more. And she did. And her royalties went up exponentially, even having a $100,000 month. And that's one of my favorite stories because it was actually doing less. It wasn't about doing more. It was doing less. And so coaching is very regularly the first thing we look at to stabilize the foundation and to make the improvements that are necessary. We have the coaching with me. We also have the coaching just at the front level of things with the Groundbreakers program that is open to all. Open to all. Let's see what folks are saying. Justin mentioned that burnout happens when you try too many things at once and none of it works. I don't disagree with that. Andrea says, I sell really well in person. I never feel too salesy. My fear is spending more than I am making with ads and the time it takes to do them. And that's the thing. When you have a hit, Andrea, and I'm going to pop another cough drop in here. When you have a hit, you'll know. If you're running ads to a book or a series and it does not lead to a significant return on investment, then it's not a breakaway hit. You're not suddenly going to make $6,000 a month from a book that maybe you spend $5 to make $6. And so you need to get honest with yourself. You need to get really, really honest with yourself about, is this the book? Is this the series that with ads I could really take off with? Because if it's not, that's okay. But maybe the next series is, and it's about getting 20 to 30% closer to what readers, it's about getting 20 to 30% closer to what readers expect. So remember that. Remember that. It is important. Awesome. Next question. I'm frustrated because I can't write fast enough to keep up with other authors. Any advice? So we'll take this in 2 directions. One, you don't need to keep up with other authors. You need to get 20 to 30% closer to what readers expect. I know authors who release once a year or twice a year who still have a great audience because their readers are so happy. So keep getting better. Don't worry about getting faster necessarily. Keep getting better. But if you have to speed up, dictation is the fastest way to speed up. It takes time. It may take 3 to 6 months for you to feel comfortable dictating books. But if you do that, you can double your word count. So either think more about quality than quantity, or consider a totally different way of getting the words on the page so that you can be faster. Oh, you got a 2-for-1 right there. 2-for-1. And folks, we're coming to the end of the lightning round here. We've got one more question here, but Those of you who are here live, I appreciate you guys so much. If you want to share this, if you're on Facebook, if you want to share this, if you're on YouTube and you want to share the channel over to your socials, please spread the word. I would be so happy to see hundreds upon hundreds of people watching this live every single week. It would really scratch that itch of just getting to reach as many people in the community as possible. I would love it. And so the more you can do, the more you can share, the more you can spread the word, the happier I will be. And so I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Last question. What book or books would you recommend authors read instead of the next book on marketing or the next writing craft book? I have a book that I really like called Positive Intelligence, and it's by Shirzad Shamin. And this is a book about checking in with those inner voices that are telling you that you're doing a bad job and calling them out. Really just making sure that you know, oh, this thing is sabotaging me. This thing is getting in the way, and calling those out as not being real, as actually just being like parts of your programming, either nature or nurture, that are getting in the way of you being a happy, healthy, well-adjusted person. And so I'm a big fan of Positive Intelligence. I have shared it with a variety of folks. So I hope that is helpful for you. All right, so let me go down to the question of the week. So my question is, what is one thing you've done or that you can do to help you recover when you are experiencing the pangs of potential burnout? So, what is one thing you've done or that you can do to help you recover when you are experiencing the pangs of potential burnout? You can answer that question of the week over at the Sell More Book Show After Party Facebook group or at the sellmorebookshow.com website. We do shout out some of the answers from the previous week's question on the show. Y'all, it is always a delight to do this show for you, whether you've been listening over on the podcast side of things or you've been checking us out in the live video. I am just always so happy to be able to spread the word about some of these ideas that I think will help you to sell more books and just generally enjoy this whole author thing a little bit more. If you have never left a review over on the Apple Podcast page for the Sell More Book Show, now would be a great time to do it. Over, just search Apple Podcast Sell More Book Show. And if you have an Apple account, you can go and leave us a review. Thank you, Renee. Thanks, Rosina. Thanks, Andrea and Justin and Charity and Pint and Portal, Tony, all these folks who were here today. Trying to make sure I catch everybody, but I didn't quite catch everybody who was here. Very much appreciate all those of you who were live here. Thank you for watching and tuning into the show. Remember our sponsor, the Author Ad Agency. If you're in the right position to be working with us, come see us sometime. We would love to help you scale up your sales. So I'm Brian Cohen. This has been the 630th episode of the Sell More Book Show. Hope you have a great book selling week, and we will be back next time for episode 631. Bye, everybody.